Moh-kíns-tsis. Miiksika'am. My name is Red Crane. This area we're standing in is a very significant area to the Blackfoot people. The Blackfoot people traveled quite an immense area of land geographically now in southern Alberta. And my great-great-grandfather, the great war chief Eagle Ribs, he camped in this area before Fort Calgary became here. This area, the Elbow River that flows through here into the Bow River. The Bow River flows from the heart of the headwaters in Castle Mountain. This is where the old people, when they camp upstream from here, this is where they gathered the medicines. It's kind of like a natural pharmacy for all the medicine people of the time. And when they also assisted the outpost of Fort Calgary with some of the ailments that some of the police were having and the people that lived near the fort. And it's also a navigational area where from this point they know where they're going towards the foothills, they know where they're going to the medicine fields, they know where they're going to the Holy Spring, now called Banff, Alberta. So with that, this area is in a way a focal point of where they're going to head out up to the north, cross the river, or go this way to the west to areas where there's abundance of medicines. They also, in the days, they built log houses. They float the timber down the turbulent Bow River. But they also send them along to the Elbow River because there's also people need those resources in that area. The Blackfoot people always talk about Moh-kíns-tsis as a place where we prepare. And all the people of the Blackfoot are very close to wooded areas and river systems. That's, you might say, those were the highways of that time. That's how they know where they're going. And a lot of the high places, that's where they bury the people that go into the spirit world. And that is why when we come to this place, we do two things. We honor our Creator and we honor our source of life, the people and the land. Those are the two things you honor when you stand where my ancestors have traveled, where they have camped. Who knows? Maybe my great-grandfather had a ceremony for a wounded warrior just in this area. The water in the Elbow River has medicinal things in it because it doesn't flow as fast. We don't only benefit it, we also think of our brothers, the birds, the animals, and also other tribes that come through. Just upriver from here is a natural crossing. There's a lot of there's a lot of high points in the river. So this place is a good place to go so you know where to cross. So everybody that came through, the Blackfoot are very kind-hearted people because they wanted to share. Did you know this place where you camped, there are powerful medicines along the water, along those hills. Even the flowers have medicines, like the dandelions have great powerful medicines. We did not know that. It's just because in the winter time, you did not know where to find them. But in the springtime, make sure you gather these medicines because you will need them on your trek this way. It's because they said it was foretold that the newcomers are going to come from the east. So it's an epidemic of smallpox. There's also a diphtheria epidemic that combined with that time. And the population of the Blackfoot dwindled from 10,000 to 600. And there was 800 because 200 were traveling elsewhere. The Bloods were down to about the same amount. Piikani was down to 500. So there was a sparse population here. They knew that this thing also hits the people that are not from this land. And they had a bad time because they did not know the natural medicines. But even then, the medicine people were very hard-pressed to find a quick cure for that. So they had to combine with the Western medicine. The train went by here every 6 months, and the doctor looked at everybody, but 6 months after, he thought everybody would be gone. So when he came back in 6 months, he says, the people are still alive. What's happening? He says, they found something to use to keep their people alive. So they combined their knowledge of medicines, the ones he brought from the East. And that's the time the old people said, we will have to use our knowledge in this way, in friendship, so that we will all survive on the land. In way back, I would say, about 10,000 years ago, after the push of the glacial push and things started to get better, we had to venture into the plains, which we never ventured before. But we had to gain all that knowledge. Everybody had to have the same knowledge, because we're gonna go different places in the plains. So what happened was, there was a prairie grizzly bear that roamed the plains, and he subsisted on that buffalo. So they made a treaty with the prairie grizzly bear. And he said, I knew you were coming, my children. I will move to the southern area, and you can roam the plains, and you can reap the benefits of this great land. So at that point in time, they started to understand, when they were up in the north, they had to know protocol. They had to know their relationship with everything that came, everything around them, and to also honor, only take what you need. Don't hoard the resources, because somebody may need them. So they had all the teachings. When they came out, they were waiting for the sacred gifts. We just passed Christmas. They seen the star in the east. There's a story about it. When the world turned 18 hours after that, we seen that same star. The old people looked up and they says, our grandfather's here. Now we're going to get the sacred gifts. This is why we have to put our protocol, our honoring to Mother, to Kakkumitapi. We look at Mother Earth as a living being, and everything in the universe, because the weather is going to change, and everything around us. Now we will have to live in harmony with everything around us. Today it's not any different, because it's the stories that create the consistency. And then we got our sacred gifts, our sacred bundles, our ceremonies, our songs. Today we're still honoring those in that way. It's never changed. Like the old people say, you're all like this. I'm standing here. I'm telling the story the same as these people that told the story 1,000 years ago. So that's why today you always have to think of our source of life, Mr. Toki, the one that created us. And all these things around us are keeping us alive.